Hello people, and people like things. This is Dread, the Madsmith, coming to you to do some blacksmithery shenanigans. Today I'm going to do a much needed forge upgrade using this wonderful metal workbench I procured here. Well, my tent was collapsed in by snow, which took a lot of rebar and duct tape to fix. Rebar, duct tape, you can see up there, yeah. And everything starts sinking into the ground once the snow thawed. You can see why there's a board there. So, yeah. That's what we're doing.
There are many more ways to make a forge than just these giant brick structures you see in classical depictions. You could basically use a wooden box with dirt and a hole in it, or you could make something out of break barrel like I'm planning to do, or you could just cobble something together, and as long as you have a good fireproof material for your fire pot and a good fuel and air source, you can pretty much make it out of anything from fire bricks to clay, and you could use charcoal or coal or gas, depending on it. You can use many different things for an air source, like a blow dryer, for example, or a vacuum cleaner. Here's a couple of examples that I've done recently. You could even use the kitchen sink, but I would advise against using anything galvanized or stainless because they leach toxic gases. Here's a little diagram if you want to pause it.
Yep. If I edited that correctly, you should have just seen a few examples of what you need to make a decent forge. Well, anyway. For heat-resistant fire chamber or fire pot, I'm going to use this break barrel that I bought while my tent was being fixed. And for the air source, I'm going to use this piece of flex pipe because I have it on hand. Why not? And I'm going to hook it up to this tube here and this blower, which I had to fix because tent landed on it. And for a snack, I'm going to have this apple that's covered in aluminum foil to prevent bees from getting in it, because no one likes Applebee's. Okay, because I never found my chalk, I think it just sort of fell somewhere and dissolved. You're wondering how I'm going to mark this thing? Oh look, a rust ring that shows exactly where to cut. Neat. Now, where I positioned this was, well, aren't you loud? Anyway. Now you're wondering why I positioned this right here instead of somewhere else. I was considering doing it more centrally located, but I decided I want a nice wide work area on that side so I could put tools and stuff, but I also wanted a little bit of a section for forge specific tools, where I used to use that thing for forge specific tools. Now I'm going to use this area with this little clip here that will keep everything secure. Yeah, so I'm going to have a nice area, and that's going to be a nice backing for when I work with larger, heavier objects. But I'm going to have to trim that so I can stick things past it, like if I'm doing a really long sword. But this whole table is long enough, I shouldn't have to worry about that too much, but I'm still gonna trim that down. So basically I'm just going to cut this hole, trim that, and put this in the hole, this in the hole, and then hook that blower system up to it. And that's the basic forge. Now this is a nice little apparatus that previous owner of the bench used to clamp pieces of metal. Unfortunately, it's exactly where I don't want it. So yeah. Dread, Why did you destroy it instead of cutting it off so you could use it later? I'm destructive. You can literally see where my feet were sinking into the mud when I was trying to move this table all by myself. Why? Because I'm arrogant. But yeah, it was a real pain in the ass. Literally, I pulled a glute muscle. So how am I going to cut this? Well, leaving this in the rain left a nice rust ring because, yeah, and my chalk is gone forever. So how am I going to cut this? I'm going to cut it like a pizza. I'm going to cut it down the middle, and then I'm going to cut it down the side, and then I'm going to cut it this way, and then I'm just going to and then break the slices. And then, hey, maybe I'll be able to make some throwing knives with them. But yeah, and since, notice, since this ring that left the rust ring is a little bit smaller than the rim here, it won't fall through. Foresight! Gotta love it. I should have bought the better grinding wheels. Well, I ran out of grinding wheels and someone's mowing. Be back in a little bit. Oh, good time for an apple break. That is one ugly pizza. Also note that it took roughly 6 of the cheap cutting wheels and about, oh, one's worth of the decent cutting wheels. Food for thought. Need to do a little more cutting. Next time on the Mad Forge, how to fix your hammer. Yeah, I probably should have cut it a little more. Whoops. One down. There's a lesson in all this, but I'm too busy working. By the way, this works almost as good as a sledgehammer. Ta-da! Ah, finally. Notice the dust, come on, focus, is magnetic. So it clings to all your tools. Neat. Soon Mecha Shark will be done, and none will be able to stop me within the vicinity of Mecha Shark, because he can't move too well on land and can't really exist too long in the water because, you know, he's made out of metal, and yeah, salt water would just dissolve him like freaking Alka-Seltzer or something. I didn't think this through. You can see the ridges on the wheel keep it from having too much contact with the bench, and that'll keep too much heat from going from the brake barrel to the bench, thus preventing it from warping in the future. All part of the plan. That's why I said earlier, I was making sure that it was smaller than the rim. That was, yeah. It was all planned. It's not an accident. Now that that's scored, time to break it off. You can see what I'm going for here. I might cut a notch into that back plate there, but otherwise that's about right. A bit sharp at an angle, but the coal will be, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go inside now. I have a doctor's appointment. Well, the doctors took my blood. Not my fault if they burst into flames. Anyway, I ground off all these little pointless welding marks and smoothed out the lining of this hole so that the fire pot does not wobble too much. And I smoothed the back of that thing. I might cut a notch in the middle. I'll work with it a bit before I decide on that. Now for all the mechanical parts of the forge. Basically I gotta get this pipe to fit this hole. Oh no. Oh, Applebee. Oh no, the pipe does not seem to fit the hole. If only there was some sort of professional around here that was adept at manipulating iron-based materials. Oh wait, that didn't work. Plan B. Plan Applebee. Plan B. Yay. Ever use galvanized pipe, by the way, for forge materials or stainless steel, because the metal coatings can create a toxic poison gas that you can't see, and it can, you know, kill you. So don't use galvanized or stainless steel unless you've like figured out a way to remove that stuff. But yeah, you can see I just sort of have a pipe sticking through that piece of thin metal and just having it go down there. So I should be able to use that pretty well. I was going to have a sort of flue thing where the slag would fall through, but I'll have to get a few more fittings for that. Oh well, progress. Battery's running low because I filmed a bunch of things that I'm probably not going to use, so I'll give you a quick overview of the layout. Here's the fire pot. There's the pipe that I use for an air source. Here it comes down there to a cheap replaceable flex pipe, and right to the blower I use, and I'm going to use one of those cheap grinding wheels for a thing, for air control. I'll eventually add a dimmer switch, and there's the plug, so it's easy and convenient for me to work on. So yeah, I'm going to recharge this camera and then give you a slight demonstration on what I'm going to do. I'll just show you. I'll just make something. Getting all tongue-tied because I'm hurrying before the battery cuts. Now that looks much better than what it was about a month ago. By the way, the skull's name is Gregory. He keeps watch. People live around here will get the reference. Damn air conditioner. Okay, time for its first test firing. The air will go through the blower, through the pipe, into this flex pipe, into this pipe, and then out here. Now, my one concern is that hot ashes and slag from the forge pot will fall through the pipe and melt this plastic pipe here, but there should be enough airflow so that shouldn't happen. Now, I kind of have another concern of it shooting little sparks up into the tent, but I think it'll be fine. In any case, I got a piece of metal over there to cover everything. Here's hoping nothing burns, except what I want to burn, which is everything. I mean, scratch that. I think it needs more tea packets. I drink a lot of tea. I got 2 more of these boxes. A little bit of meltage. If I die from smoke inhalation, please remember me for my random acts of sanity. I'm stoked, are you? That's stoked. It's a blacksmith joke. Stoking a fire! Well, it seems to be working pretty well. So now I gotta actually get some real work done instead of just preparing for work. So, I'll see you next time. Shouldn't making the forge have been episode 1 of the Mad Forge? Technically no, because the Mad Forge is my head. I will destroy you with the things inside my mind.